This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN, that way we don't have to make videos in a dumpster behind the movie theater. Hey there guys, I know this video's a bit late, and if you haven't already, make sure you go watch my top 10 best movies of 2019. And like I previously said in that video, it's almost a good thing I waited so long to do these top 10 videos, because theaters are shut down and there's no new movies to talk about. So with that said,
let's talk about my top 10 worst movies of 2019.
The Fanatic, starring John Travolta, directed by Limp Bizkit's Fred Durst. I never thought I would say that.
Alright, you're gonna help me make some fucking cash, bitch!
I wish Freddy Krueger would come and chop off your head, and it would roll in the street, and a truck would squish it.
Now hear me out for a second. From a story standpoint, from a screenplay standpoint, from the fact that this is John Travolta's worst performance ever given, this movie is by definition terrible. And with all that said, this movie's highly entertaining and I enjoyed every second of this shitfest movie. Next up is Disney's live-action remake of The Lion King. Technically it's still animated, but it's photorealistic animation, so they're going to call it live action. With the newest trend of live-action Disney remakes like The Jungle Book or Aladdin, at least those films attempted to bring something new to the story. This live-action Lion King movie is just a copy and paste without any of the charisma, the charm, and entertainment value that the original had. Hey look, it's a Netflix action movie. I don't know if I should call this movie Six Underground or Michael Bay's Wet Dream. This entire film just feels like a random montage of some of the worst moments throughout Michael Bay films put together, and you have to watch it. It actually took me 3 days to get through this movie. This movie has all of the typical Michael Bay tropes. It's oversaturated, it has way too much contrast, and the explosions look like fireworks. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoy some Michael Bay movies. I love the film The Rock. It's a great action flick. But this movie just feels like self-indulgent Michael Bay trash. I paid money to see this movie. Why did I do that? And I still don't know who the audience of this film was supposed to be. It definitely wasn't me. My girlfriend Amber went to see this movie with me. She hated it as well. It has no redeeming qualities. The action's boring and not well done. The story's also boring and not well done. It's a bad movie. Was anyone asking for this movie? Did anyone want to see this movie? Well, clearly not, because no one went to go see it. Except for me. 47 Meters Down Uncaged. When I was watching 47 Meters Down, the predecessor to this film, I was like, okay, how can you make a worse movie about sharks? And this does it. And now, anytime on YouTube I get an excuse to show this clip from 7 years ago, I do. Yeah, when it comes to this movie, I just wanted to see all of the characters eaten alive by the sharks in the most violent way possible. I wanted the sharks to win. Alright, so we're here. Cats. The reason that this isn't number one on my list is because going into this movie, the first time I saw the production photo or the first trailer, I knew this was going to be a dumpster fire with nightmare fuel and terrible CG, sexualized human cat faces. Now very quickly, before we go to the next worst movie on my list, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsor of this video, ExpressVPN, because without them, I couldn't make YouTube videos possible. So here's a quick mention to them, and we'll talk about some more terrible movies. This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. The internet's a scary place, and if you don't have a VPN, a virtual private network, well, you're sending out your information all over the place, and people can take it, steal it, and that sucks. That's happened to me. Let me share a story with you. A few years ago, I was at the gym working out, and I was using the Wi-Fi at the gym, and someone tapped into my phone with the same Wi-Fi network and stole my credit card info. I got home later that night and noticed someone stole hundreds of dollars from me, buying like some shoes in another country. And that's the day I learned about VPNs. So with ExpressVPN, you get data encryption and IP masking. And let me tell you why that's good. With ExpressVPN's data encryption, your information goes through an encrypted tunnel. It can't be seen by the government, not by hackers, not by your internet service provider, not even by ExpressVPN. And with IP masking, your connection gets routed through one of 3,000 servers, which allows you to browse the web anonymously. And here's why I really like that. Let's say you have Netflix in your country or certain streaming services. Now this is just one example, but if you're watching Netflix in your country but want to see different movies or TV shows that might only be available in other countries' versions of Netflix, no worries. With ExpressVPN, you can watch anything on Netflix anywhere. Yeah, sometimes I just like to watch the UK version of Netflix. ExpressVPN has some of the fastest speeds, and it's the top-rated #1 VPN provider by TechRadar, CNET, and various other companies. Find out how you can get 3 months free by clicking the link down below in the description box at expressvpn.com/flickpick. Link down below. Check it out. Men in Black International. I'm a huge fan of the first Men in Black movie.
Sugar, water.
I avoided this movie as long as I possibly could. I skipped it in theaters. I didn't go get the Blu-ray or the DVD until one day my girlfriend randomly brought it home from Redbox and made me watch it. And it took 2 days to get through this. I really enjoyed the chemistry between Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson in Thor Ragnarok. In this film, it's the complete opposite of that. Oh boy, it's time to talk about Hellboy. I enjoyed the Ron Perlman incarnation of Hellboy movies. They were entertaining. Now, when it comes to this film, there was a lot of studio interference, a lot of production issues. They were sort of making things up as they went in the screenplay. And you can tell because this film is very discombobulated. And now I'd like to read a quote from David Harbour, who plays Hellboy. I think as a rental or as a movie that you see on an airplane, I think you'd be like, oh, that was fun, because it's a fun movie. And I think it was unfairly bludgeoned as a result of these comparisons. And now here's my question for you. Did you watch Hellboy on an airplane, or did you rent this movie? I don't think anyone did either of those things, because the movie made no money at all. I hate this movie. I hate this movie. How do you destroy the legacy of one of the best action films ever made within the first 2 minutes of your film? Oh, I know. You make Terminator Dark Fate. Now, maybe I'm biased. I think Terminator T2 is one of the best action films ever made. Actually, I think it is the quintessential best action film ever made. And this film is just... what's happening to me? In this film, you see the return of the T-800 played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he is installing children's drapes. That's what he's doing. And now the #1 worst movie on my list is the film Countdown. Does this technically qualify as a real movie? This is sort of a horror film about an app that kills people. I always thought that was tender. It's like this movie stole the concept from Final Destination and watered that concept down so much that now it's an app that kills you in the most boring sequences you could possibly imagine. But I will say this, I knew during the credits of this film it was going to be my #1 worst movie of the year. And it is. And if you hated Countdown as much as I did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and I'd much appreciate it. Alright, those are my top 10 worst films of 2019. Now here's my question for you, and let me know down below, what are some of your worst films from 2019? And if you haven't already, make sure you go watch my top 10 best films of 2019. You can click the link down below or the big thumbnail after the video. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, that way I can see you next time.